Hello, our most valued student. My name is Confident. Welcome to a revision session, and today I'm looking at Mathematics N4, and I'm bringing in the question paper, and this question paper was just written recently, and this is Mathematics N4 for those of you who are doing their N4. And as you can see, it's a paper that was written on the 29th of June 2022. So as I'm doing this video, it is the latest paper that was just written. So I'm going to kind of bring you some suggested answers so that you can be in a position to, as you are revising, to see if you were the one sitting for this paper, how will you have approached it. So in a way, I'm just bringing in some suggested answers and some working towards this paper. So this is requirements. You needed a graph paper. This is very unique. Usually they don't put this requirement, but always be careful whenever you are going through your instructions in the final exam. Check very well, because sometimes the invigilators might not pick this up, because usually the graph paper is for N1 and N2. N3, N4 going forward, it's rare that you are given a graph paper, but now be careful on such instructions. So you might find that some students might not have required this, or the invigilator might forget based on the previous experience. So be careful on that. And then this is also basic. You needed a scientific calculator, and this question paper consisted of 5 pages and 1 formula sheet. So I'm going to be going through this paper question by question. So what I will encourage you to do is go through these videos so that you can prepare. But one thing that is important is for you to subscribe to this channel if ever you want follow-up videos. So what it means is you ensure that you are subscribed and ensure that the notification bell is turned on, so that YouTube will notify you every time there is a new video. So if this is your first time coming in contact with this channel, we say welcome. If you have been watching this channel but you have not subscribed, I will encourage you, go now and subscribe, because you're going to miss a lot of content on this. So let us look at this question that was just written, and just to see what it was bringing along. So these are basic instructions which you need to go through. Very important. Answer all these questions, read all questions carefully, number the answers accordingly, show all intermediate steps. Please don't forget that, very important. And then the rounding off here is 3 decimal places, don't forget, very important. And then questions may be answered in any order, so just answer them in any order. And then you need to start the question on a new page. Use only blue or black ink. Please avoid using highlighters, avoid using Tipex. Just the blue and the black pen is important. And then you're reading it right. You need to be neat with your work and make sure it's legible and, in other words, clear. So let's look at this paper, this question. So we are starting here with question number 1. It said here you needed to simplify. Look at this. You needed to simplify. That's question number 1. You needed to simplify without, you see this part, you needed to simplify without using a calculator. But what I always tell students is, whenever a question comes and it is in a way forcing me not to use a calculator, what I usually do is to actually use the calculator. So I sometimes, for example, let's choose for interest sake any value of x and say let x be equal to 10. So what I'll do here, I will have my x being 10. I'm substituting for 10 here. After doing that, let me see what it will give me with the calculator. Remember, they say I must not use a calculator. So what I do is I take a calculator and see what does this simplify. It helps me in a way to kind of know what it does simplify. So it's x minus sine that minus 10, and then I'll say times 1090 minus 10, so that I can see what it gives me. Cosec. Now remember, what is cosec? Cosec is 1 over sine 90 because I don't have cosec here. 90 minus 10, and then also don't forget to put this carefully so over. I mean cos 360 minus 10 times cot is 1 over 10. So it's 1 over 10. You can use sine over cos, but it's better to say 1 over 10, 180 plus 10. So this is what I have. If I say equal to, I'm getting this number here, 0.1736. Let's see if I change and make another one number. Let's say now 20 instead of 10. Let me make it was minus 20, where there is 10, and see whether I'm getting the same answer there. It was 0, I forgot it now, but let's see whether, I think when it repeats I'll be able to pick it up, just to see if the answer is being maintained. If it is maintained, that's what I'm also going to get. 20 there, again 20 there, equal to 0.342. Anyway, this is changing. Okay, I know how I'm going to prove it then in the final, but let's just leave it like that. We're going to test this in the final. For example, since I don't want to write this, if it was a 10, let's take it back to 10, and then I'm going to write the answer when x was equal to 10. Then we're going to prove our final answer with x is equal to 10. I hope you see what I'm saying, you get what I'm getting into. So the answer here is not the same when I'm changing it, which is fine, but now I just want to show you. So when x is equal to 10, that's what is important here. Look at the answer, 0.1736, 0.1736, so equal to 0.1736. That is when what? When x is equal to 10. We're going to keep it like this. But now I need to write this question again. Now I'm going to work it out. So what am I given? I'm given sine 180 minus x times 10. Then I've got 90 minus x, and now I need just to be careful here because of my space. So let me just drag this in here. Alright, so that is what I have, and then this is all over. Then I've got cosec 90 minus x times cos, just to be clear, it's what? Cos 360 minus x, and then times cot, so that is clear there, it's 180 plus x. So this is a bit long and everything, but it's fine. So look at this. If I want to isolate this all together so that I can have it on its own, just again let me isolate this. Okay, look at this. So I've got this. The question says I need to simplify. So now you guys are in N4, and some of these become standard with your practice, but it's always important for you to understand how I go about simplifying. For example, what I need to do whenever I'm working on this, I need my cast diagram. So let me have my cast diagram here, and you must remember the cast. What does it say? All students take chemistry, meaning this is 0, and this is 90, this is 180, this is 270, and this is 360. And then we are saying all students take chemistry, and in here I've got 90 plus x and 180 minus x. These are my reduction rules, and in there I've got 90 minus x. This is my first quadrant, this is my second quadrant, my third, and my fourth. So in my third it's 180 plus x, and the last one is 360 minus x. Remember, these are my reduction rules, so I'm going to apply them here. So the first one is I need to simplify sine 180 minus x, and as you can see, this is in the second quadrant. So in the second quadrant, when I'm simplifying that, sine is what? Sine is positive. As you can see, sine is positive, and this becomes sine x, because 180 minus x becomes positive sine x. So I've got sine x, put that in brackets, times, what about 1090 minus x? Now we cannot simplify. This is in the first quadrant, remember? So for me to be able to simplify, it says all are positive. To simplify 1090 minus x, I'm not going to be able to do that because the first quadrant are cofunctions. Don't forget that. So here, what is best to do is to convert 10 into sine over cos. So this is sine 90 minus x over cos 90 minus x. This is much better for me. And then I'm going to divide this by what is cosec. Cosec again is 1 over sine, see that, 90 minus x, and then it's times, you can put it in brackets, it's fine, but easier it's going to be times, remove that, cos 360 minus x. Now look at this, when I'm looking at cos 360 minus x, which quadrant I am in? I'm in the fourth quadrant, and what is cos? There is cos, it's positive, so this symbol becomes bracket cos x. Now what about cot? And then again it's cot becomes what? You can write cot as sine, it's cos over sine, but simple, it's since it's 180, I'll use 1 over 10 because I'm dealing with 180 plus x. It's 1 over 10, 180 plus x. See that? So this is what I'm having here, and I further simplify this. So I'm going to be having equal to, now sine x will remain as sine x times, now sine 190 minus x. These are now cofunctions. I'm in the first quadrant. Now what is sine 90 minus x? Remember, sine becomes cos x. So this will be cofunction of sine 90 minus x. It's cos x over cos 90 minus x is sine x. Again, these are cofunctions, okay? Over, and then I have 1 over, now sine 90 minus x, remember we said this is cos x times cos x times 1 over, and then 10 180 plus x. This is the third quadrant, and what is 10? 10 is positive, so this becomes tan x. I think that. So this further simplifies, it becomes easier. Now you can see that I can cancel that and cancel that, and I have at the top cos x all over, and again this will cancel and that will cancel, and then I have at the bottom 1 over 10x, which means I can convert this quick now to say cos x divided by 1 over 10x, which is equal to, let me not go down too much, which is cos x times 10x over 1. Remember, when you change from divided to times, you invert. Now remember, tan is sine over cos, which is cos x times sine x over cos x. See that? And then when you also further cancel here, what you're going to be your final answer there? The final answer there is simply going to be sine x. See that? So this simplifies to sine x. But now I talked about proving this thing to say, if you say here, let x be equal to 10, and we got 0.1736. So what I'll do is I'll also come here and say, if x was equal to 10, what is sine 10? So if I say sine 10 is equal to, and now with the calculator, I'll find sine 10. The answers, if they are matching, it means it's correct. Look at that, 0.1736, which is the same thing, or the same answer that I got when I used sine 10 in this whole big thing. So the answer then becomes correct. So you see what I mean when I say it's possible to prove this whole thing, but I think the way of proving here is have your x, any value of x that you can choose. So choose any value of x, have it, but put it in the first and put it in the last. Substitute it in the first and in the last. If the answers are matching, then you are good to go. So that was the first one. Now let's look at the second one, which is 1.2. Prove the following identity, and we are given that. So it's 6 marks. This is 6 marks. So let's see what was complicated about this. So what you are given here is I'm supposed to prove, let me use instead that it's what, sec alpha all over okay, sec alpha all over what, 1 plus 10 alpha. All right, is equal to just for space, is equal to what, cosec alpha over 1 plus cot alpha. Okay, so we're supposed to prove this identity, and let me take it into a clean space here. All right, look at this. I'm supposed to prove this. So remember, whenever you're proving, you have got two sides. You have got the left hand side and you have the right hand side, so you have to choose. So I'm going to start with the left hand side. So if I'm having my left hand side, which is, if I'm to rewrite that, remember the left hand side is sec alpha over 1 plus 10 alpha is equal to, now I'm starting with the left hand side, is called, now sec is what, 1 over cos alpha all over 1 plus 10 is what, is sine alpha over cos alpha. I think that, which is equal to, at this stage I think it's fine to continue and say find here, look at the denominator, find the make that as a single fraction there. So if you're going to make that as a single fraction, common denominator is what, is cos, but let me write the top one first, 1 over cos alpha over, so I'm going to make the denominator there as a single fraction, which is if I can say here in brief, 1 plus sine alpha over cos alpha. You can see this is 1 over 1, the common denominator there is cos alpha, so 1 into cos alpha is cos alpha times 1, which is 1, plus cos alpha into cos alpha, it's 1 times sine alpha, sorry, this is that. So that's what I'm having there. So it will be, in this case, cos alpha plus sine alpha over cos alpha. And then when you continue that, I'm going to convert this into a division sign. So it is equal to 1 over cos alpha, pardon my writing there, and then divided by cos alpha plus sine alpha over cos alpha equal to 1 over cos alpha. Then it's multiplying. Remember, if you multiply, you invert the fraction, then it becomes cos alpha over cos alpha plus sine alpha. Okay, then from there you can take out the cos and the cos, and what you simply have is 1 over cos alpha plus sine alpha. But don't lose sight of what you're proving. So you are proving that what this is equal to that cosec over 1 plus cot. So it's not looking near per se. If I look at that, I'm not seeing anything near to that. It's what cosec over 1 plus cot. Alright, cosec over 1 plus cot, but it's fine. Let's continue that. So this is what I'm having, and if I kind of look at these, what if I divide this by, because I'm looking at what, look at this, I'm looking here to become cosec. This must 1 plus cot. Okay, if look at this, if I can divide each item, I'm going to divide. Now whenever you're dividing, is if I'm going to divide, I need a 1 here. Alright, so I'm going to divide by cos alpha, because I wanted to say 1 plus. Remember, I've got a 1 plus. But in fractions, you must understand, look at this. If I have got, for example, in a fraction, I've got 1 over 3 plus 5. Now the same thing, remember this is simple 1 over 8, but I can do it in a way to say, let's say I want to divide by 7. Okay, let's say I want to make that a 1. Let's say I want to divide by 3. So at the moment I say 1 over and I divide 3 over 3, I need to do each and every item. It will be 5 over 3, and then even here it will be 1 over 3. You understand? If you take a calculator and just to test that whether we are doing the right thing, look at this. It will be, if I say here fraction 1 over 3 over, and then I've got also here 3 over 3 plus what, 5 over 3. It must give me 1 over 8. So you see that as long as I'm dividing each and every item, it's going to work. So even here I need to divide by cos to get a 1 over, again here I'll say cos alpha. On top it will be here 1 over cos alpha. You see what I'm doing there? So it will be equal to 1 over cos alpha all over cos become 1 plus sine alpha over cos alpha. See that? Then equal to, now 1 over cos, remember, is what, sec alpha over 1 plus sine over cos is what, is 10 alpha. Now if you look at this, it becomes sec alpha over 1 plus 10 alpha, which is actually is cosec alpha over 1 plus cot alpha. That's what it says. But now what am I having here? 1 over cos, divided by cos, which was 1 over cos to meet sec alpha plus, let me check it again. Oh, it's supposed to be cosec over cot. So now I need to divide instead. Not by cos but by sine. Let's use instead sine. If I redo this part to say it was equal to, it was 1 over cos alpha plus sine alpha. Now instead, let me divide by sine alpha over sine alpha. here to be 1 over sine alpha. You see that? So this is equal to now 1 over, you see now, sine alpha all over, that's where you get a 1, but you'll be having cos alpha over sine alpha plus 1. That's where I was saying at this stage 1 over sine alpha is what? It's cosec alpha over cos over sine is cot alpha plus 1. Then if you look at this cosec over cot alpha plus 1, this is our what? This is our right hand side now. So you can prove that this is equal to a right hand side. So that's how you could have proved this. See that? So there were ways you could have done that. But now, what if someone says, I just want to prove it the other way around? So I'm just going to be removing this. Someone says, I want to prove it from what? I want to prove it from the right hand side. If you are going to do that, let's look at the right hand side. So you start by saying your right hand side. So what you have in the right hand side is cosec alpha over 1 plus cot alpha. Now cosec is the same thing. You're going to say 1 over sine alpha over 1 plus, now cot, remember, is cos alpha over sine alpha. This you need to always remember. Then you have to add that fraction like we did previously. This will be equal to 1 over sine alpha all over, now common denominator is sine alpha, and then you will have here 1 into sine alpha, it's sine alpha times 1, which is that, plus sine into sine, it's 1 plus cos alpha. Then you convert that into a division sign, so that it can be equal to 1 over sine alpha divided by sine alpha plus cos alpha over sine alpha. Then you convert that into a multiplication sign, which is 1 over sine alpha times sine alpha over sine alpha plus cos alpha. Seeing that it's the same way, same thing, and I think it's going to give us the same answer at the end. Then that is where you are going to cross out that, and you're going to have in this case, which is 1 over sine alpha plus cos alpha. So now don't lose sight of where you want to go. Remember, now you're starting from the right hand side, so your aim is to say you want it to be the left. So you want in here 10. Let's focus on the what we want to get at 10. So if you want to get a 10, you come in and say, how can I get 10 at the bottom? You can divide. For you to get 10, you can divide by what? Remember, 10 is sine over cos. You see, so you divide by cos here. But whatever you do in every item there. Do you see what I mean? So this will be equal to you'll scratch out that, which is 1 over cos alpha over 10 alpha plus 1. But you don't forget 1 over cos alpha is sec alpha over 1 plus 10 alpha. If I am to write sec alpha plus 1 plus 10 alpha exactly like this, the one which is my left hand side, so you can then say which is equal to left hand side. That's how you simply prove that. I hope it is in a way assisting you guys whenever it comes to proving these tricks. So that was that, and it gives you 6 marks. Well, I don't think it deserved the 6 marks, but anyway, that was that. So now let's move on to the next one, 1.3. 1.3 here, it was focused on what? It says determine the general solution. So we are looking at the general solution of the following equation. It's 6 marks, good marks, and we are given that. So let's write it down also and see what it takes us to. So what we have is we have got 4 cos squared x over 2 plus 40 degrees is equal to 3. So this is what you are having, and you need to find the general solution. So that's what you have. First things first, what you need to do is to get rid of that 4. So to get rid of the 4, divide by 4 like that. So what you have is cos squared x over 2 plus 40. That's the first thing you needed to do, was 3 over 4. Then the next thing is to get rid of that square. Now how do you get rid of the square? You square root both sides. So you square root and you square, but don't forget, when you square root you must say plus or minus. So you have got now cos, that's where the trick was there, to remember that, is equal to plus or minus 3 over 4. At this stage, you are then going to find out the general solution comes at this stage. What do? Be careful now. You've got two answers, which says cos x over 2 plus 40 is equal to the positive one, 3 over 4, or we look into this, or cos x over 2 plus 40 is equal to negative square root of 3 over 4. You see that? And then, so if I'm to choose, okay, this is the 2, remember the positive and the negative. So the next one is to focus on the first one here. So to look at that, I'm saying, how do you get now from here? You're going to say, for me to find cos, remember the angle, it's x over 2 plus 40, that is equal to arc cos square root of 3 over 4. That's the first part. That's the first thing to do there. And then you'll have, now this is where also you need to be careful. When you're saying arc, you are going to say two things. Now we've got two answers that are going to come. Now if you look at your angle, it's positive. Remember, we are looking for a positive one, and cos is positive in the first quadrant, so you're going to say plus k 360 degrees. That's the first one. So let's simplify that, and then we get the second one, and cos is positive in the fourth quadrant. Remember your cast diagram, cos, if I do this, remember it's all students take chemistry. We have got a positive cos and a positive cos, and here is 360 minus theta or minus x. Here is normal. That's why we say in the first quadrant it's arc cos that plus k 360, which is x over 2 plus 40 is equal to, and then if you find now arc cos a square root of that, if I say shift arc cos, and then I'll say square root of 3 over 4 equal to, I'm getting a cos square root of 3 over 4. I'm getting 30 degrees. You see, it's 30 degrees. So I'm going to say here 30 degrees plus k 360 degrees. But there is a condition that you must never forget. That condition here, you must say k is an element of z. Very important condition that you must write after you just write the general. This is the general solution here. So when they say general solution, but you have to simplify it. It's not complete. At this stage, you are going to say, you solve for x now. X over 2, take 40 to the other side. It will be equal to 30 minus 40 plus k 360. So you continue with it to say x over 2 is equal to minus 10 degrees plus k 360. Then you have to multiply by 2 to get rid of that 2. You see that? So you're going to say x, therefore, that's what you need, is negative 20 plus k 360 times 2 is 720 degrees. That's the first answer there, the general solution. That's number 1. Number 2, as I told you, this was what? In the first quadrant. In the second quadrant, you are using that. So you are going to say, or x over 2, it was x over 2 plus 40, is equal to 360. Remember, I'm using that part. There is 360 minus x minus theta, but my theta is across that. So 360 minus across square root of 3 over 4 is, which is, we know already, is 30 degrees. So across 360 minus across that plus k 360 degrees, which is x over 2 plus 40 is equal to 360 degrees minus 30 plus k 360, like that. And then take this to the other side. It will be x over 2 is 360 minus 30 is 330 degrees minus 40 plus k 360. Again, I told you of the important part. K is an element of z. Don't forget that expression. And then you do that, which is x over 2 in here is equal to 330 minus 40. It will give us, I think it's 290, times, remember we're going to multiply by 2 later, is 580. So in here we multiply by 2, everything times 2, everything times 2, it's 580 degrees plus k 720 degrees. This is the second general solution. That's number 2. So this was based on the first part in the first quadrant. You see, we were looking at only this part. Now we have to go further. I have to erase now this side. I have to come now to this part where my cos is that, just to a bit. So this one is, what about when cos is that? Okay, and let's move it there. For this one, same thing. You are saying, remember, if you are saying arc cos 3 over square root of 3 over 4 is 30 degrees, so we've already identified this to say arc cos square root of 3 over 4 is equal to 30 degrees. That's our reference angle there. So now if I'm to simplify the first one, remember again, if I'm to use a cast diagram to say all students take chemistry, the negative sign means we are in this quadrant and that quadrant, and in this quadrant is 180 minus theta, the other one is 180 plus theta. So now that's what we're going to be using. So we're going to say cos, I'm not going to write cos now, I'm writing now the angle x over 2 plus 40 degrees is equal to arc cos that, remember, we're saying we're in the second quadrant, so the negative sign tells us is 180 minus my theta, this is my theta, this one, minus what, 30, are you with me, and then plus k 360 degrees. Don't forget the condition, k is an element of z. So what you're going to do is to simplify that. You've got x over 2, 180 minus 30 is 150, take 40 to the other side, it's 150 degrees minus 40 plus k 360. Then don't forget the answer, you're going to multiply by 2, so x is equal to 150 minus 40 is 110, so it is 110 times 2, I think it's 220 plus k 720 degrees. You're just doing the same thing you did previously. So this is number 3. Number 4 is on this quadrant, to say x over 2 plus 40 is equal to, now instead of 180 minus, it is 180 degrees plus reference angle, which is 30 degrees, plus k 360. So you've got x over 2 is equal to, so now 180 plus 30, which is 210 minus 40 plus k 360. See that? So multiply by 2 as we did previously. You have here x is equal to, now 210 minus 40, I need to know what it gives me there. 210 minus 40 is 170 times 2 is 340. So you've got 340 degrees plus k 720 degrees. Then this also becomes what? Number 4. So these are the general solutions as you have seen. If I move it around, we got the first one, that was that. You go to the second one, you go to the third one, and you go to the fourth one. So I know it looks a bit complicated, but that was that. 6 marks. Well, it's worth it. This is worth it now for 6 marks. Okay. Now let's look at the last one. 1.4 says find the value of cos. All right, but it's fine. It was general solution, so I'm not going to prove that. Let's move on to the next one because of time. It says, but in my previous lessons, I show you how you can actually prove this. You can actually prove that part here. But anyway, let's move on to the next one. It says find the value of 1 over cos 75 without using a calculator. It's 4 marks. So I'm just going to work it down here already. I need to find the value of that. So if I'm given 1 over cot 75, they say without using a calculator. So obviously I'm going to grab a calculator and say what is, remember cot is same as what, 10. So it's 1 over, cot is 1 over 10. Fraction 1 over 10, not that, 1 over 10 75, which is 2 plus root 3. So here my answer is 2 plus square root of 3. I have to work towards that. That's all that that's where you need to know. Don't just work things where you can prove them and then you're like, but I'm not going to use a calculator. Just use the calculator, work towards that. So let's work towards that. Now, how are we going to use this part? In this part, if we continue 1 over cos 75, this is same as saying 1 over 10 75. Remember, cos is 1 over 10, which is equal to, remember, it's 1 divided by 1 over 10 75, which is equal to 1 times 10 75 over 1. So this is actually 10 75. See that? So in a way, you can actually say 1 over cos, 1 over cot. Why am I saying cos? This is supposed to be a t. 1 over cot 75 is 10 75. Then you are going to simplify 10 75. So let's simplify that. So what is 10 75? They say I mustn't use a calculator, so I'll go special angles. Now 75 is same as saying, if I take my calculator, it is same as saying using special angles. If I say 75 minus 30, I'll get 45. So those are two special angles. So it's 45 plus 30. I think that. So I'm going to use that, which is 10 45 plus what? 10 45 plus 30. But now I don't want to use 10 because I want to use my expansion formulas. So 10 is the same as sine 45 plus 30 over cos 45 plus 30. You know why I'm saying that? Because I want to use, let me go to my formulas. I want to use the expansion. Okay, I could have used 10. 10 is there. Alright, I can use 10 actually. There is my 10. Let's use my 10a plus b. Okay, let's focus on 10. 10a plus b, which is 10a plus 10b. Seeing that over 10 over 1 minus 10a 10b. Let's use that one actually. Let me not use this one. It was gonna give you the same answer, but it's not necessary. So look at this. I'm saying 10a plus b is equal to 10a plus, let me give it space, 10a plus 10b over 1 minus 10a 10b. Let's just verify that again. It's 10a plus 10b over 1 minus 10a 10b. So this is that, so it's fine. So if I'm to use this here, what do you think it was going to be? This was going to be equal to here. So it's 10 45 plus 10 30 over 1 minus 10 45 times 10a 10b, 1045 times 10 30. Now you are allowed to use a calculator here because they think you know the special angles. So what is 1045? You just take a calculator and use, but I'll show you now how to use that calculator. Now if you say 1045, you need to be following my previous lessons on this. 1045 equal to, say I'm getting a 1, which is good. What about 1030? 1030, it's square root of 3 over 3. That's where you need to be clever now. You don't write that because they will catch you that you used a calculator. Remember, square root of 3 over 3, if you did not use a calculator, is supposed to be 1 over square root of 3 using the actual special angles, you see. So the calculator rationalize, so it's 1 over root 3 is square root of 3 over 3, and then don't forget that. So when you are writing it, you are going to say 1 plus 1 over square root of 3, because it gave me root 3 over 3, over 1 minus 1 times 1 over square root of 3. See that? That's where you needed just to be careful there. And then when you simplify the top part, you are actually, okay, it's 1 plus 1 over root 3 over 1 minus 1 over root 3. I think from here you can find common denominator at the top, which is equal to square root of 3 here. 1 into square root of 3 is square root of 3 times 1 plus 1 all over, at the bottom again it's square root of 3, the denominator, which is root 3 minus 1. And then from there what you do is you are going to change that into, these are fractions now, into a division sign. So it's root 3 plus 1 over root 3 divided by, when you divide, but remember when I say times once, it will be times, you invert root 3 over root 3 minus 1. Remember that. Cancel that. So what we have is square root of why is it doing that? Okay, it's fine. It's square root of 3. I thought the answer was going to come out clean like that, over square root of 3 minus 1. So I'm still having that here, but I think I can rationalize this. Let me check this with the calculator. I just want to show you something here. Let me check this with the calculator just to see if I'm in the right track. So this is root 3 what plus 1 over root 3 what minus 1 equal to You see, it's 2 plus root 3. 2 plus root 3. So I'm still in the right track because that's what we got here. Where is this? 2 plus root 3. See that? So which means I need to rationalize this. What you do, you multiply that by root 3 is negative. So you say plus 1 at the bottom. What you do on the top, you do on the bottom. Root 3 plus 1. That's what you needed to do. And this is a difference of 2 squares at the bottom here. You can see. So you multiply like this. So you're expanding this times this times that, this times this, and this times that. So root 3 times root 3, what do I get? Root 3, okay, let me write it like that, times root 3, and then plus 1 times root 3 is root 3, root 3 times 1 is root 3, plus 1 over, look at the second one, difference of 2 squares, root 3 times root 3, over, plus root 3 minus root 3 minus 1. And root 3 times root 3 is 3 plus root 3 plus root 3, which is 2 root 3 plus 1 over, at the bottom again is 3, that goes minus 1, which is equal to, simplifying this, 3 plus 1 is 4 plus 2 root 3 over 3 minus 1 is 2. Factorize 2 here at the top. 2 into 4 is 2 plus 2 into 2 root 3 is root 3 over what? Over 2. See that? Then at the end of the day, you need to cancel out that 2. So the answer becomes 2 plus root 3, and it is that simplified version, if you still remember. The calculator did give us 2 plus 2 root 3. So it looks a simple one, but 4 marks. I think it was worth it for the 4 marks at N4 level. I usually do N1 and N2, N3, and then sometimes I do this N4 just to show you that maths is still mathematics. You can still, in a way, still simplify this, but you need to understand the level of math that you're dealing with. You're in N4, so some of these things are assumed already. You know your N1, N2, and N3. Alright guys, I've done the first question. I'll be doing the follow-up questions, question 2, 3, 4. I think it ends in 5. It's 20 marks each. So yeah, there are 5 questions for 100. Follow me again in the next video. Remember, subscribe. Remember, turn on the notification bell. Don't just watch without subscribing. I need to know there are people behind this channel. I need to know there is you guys who are benefiting. So leave a comment, subscribe, be active in the channel. It gives me the motivation to say, look, bring us more videos, because I know behind the scenes there is you that I have in mind, and my aim or the passion I have for you, my underdog, is you need to excel in this maths. I wish you all the best, and remember, share the channel with your friends and those who are also doing similar subjects. See you again in the next lesson. Thank you.